Hey Marta, how are you?
Very well. Thank you
Uh,
for chatting with me.
yeah, of course. So with Shazam, Fury of the Gods coming out, it's funny because Rosa as a character on paper probably doesn't seem like the most important part of Shazam because it is a movie about Billy Batson and the Shazam family, but she is like very much like the soul of the first movie. I haven't watched Fury of the Gods yet, so I don't know her what her role is in that.
Wait till you watch it. Wait till you watch it. You're gonna lose your mind.
But with like a character like that, which like could just be such a like kind of insignificant part, how do you like approach something and make it so uh I guess for lack of a better way of explaining it, beautiful? Because like
Thank
Rosa's
you.
arc with
Oh,
those kids is so sweet in that first movie.
I thank you for saying that because it's wow, it speaks to my heart, you know. I um I love this character so much, and I've always been a nurturer all my life, and can't wait to be a mom. I love children. I've always gravitated towards kids since I was very young.
Mhm.
And I think I got that from my mom, you know. So I think there is a reason why I got this role because partly of that that calling that I have for maternal instincts, you know. So I'm just having this. So when this role came around, and I realized, wow, I'm going to play the foster mom to so many kids, and we went to Toronto to do the movie, and I hadn't not met any of them, you know, and I reached out to all the parents, and I said, listen, I would love to like hang out with them and like spend some time together to be able to get to know each of them individually, and like I had done all this like character structure with each of my kids, and I sat with them individually to see like as your character, what do you relate to the most within the character itself, but also with your character and Mama Rosa, like each an individual meetings I had with each of the actors playing each of my kids, right? So by the time we went on, I did like pancake days in my apartment and movie nights in my apartment with all the kids. This is maybe like a couple weeks before we started shooting. So by the time we
Mhm.
went to film the first scene, which was one of the dining scenes, you know, the producers were like, hold on, because Mama Rosa this, Mama Rosa that, hanging on my arm or like clinging, oh, listen to this song, you know? And it really felt like a family. So the producers were like, how did this happen, you know? And I feel like I have that tendency to connect with children no matter what. And knowing that I had to play a character that has become the core heart of the movie in the first one, and even more so in the second one. And I don't want to really reveal too much to not spoil it, but um, the reason Mama Rosa continues to be so crucially important is because of not only all the other kids, but Billy's struggle with foster families, found families, having lost his biological mom, not really lost her, like found her and then clearly saw that she didn't want
Mhm.
him, which is so heartbreaking. But there is another mother that wants him, and that's Mama Rosa. So that message to children across the world that don't have a solid family structure or a solid relationship with their moms, to know that there's women out there and moms out there that can be that to children. I think it's crucially important. I think that's why this movie is important. The message of family and found family, and like and being able to find your own connections within a structure that's not necessarily your biological family or the family that you were born into, I think is it makes this movie stand out differently than other superhero films, you know.
Mhm.
And so for me to be able to like continue to do that into the sequel and have a lot more to do with the kids and a lot more to say about what family really is and what and why it is important and why having a home is what Mama Rosa has built is. I'm just very lucky. I was in tears when I got the script the first time last year, a year and a half ago, before we went to film the movie, and I called the writer and I was like, thank you. Thank you, because there's one scene, Rachel, and I won't disclose it. You'll see. The things Mama Rosa says to Billy. If there's anyone that's on the verge of crying, the tears are gonna come down in that scene.
Well, and
I'll
it's
tell you
so
that much.
sweet. The whole like Shazam is one of my favorite of the DCU movies. I think it's just it was so good, and like I think I'm a DC fan, so I think I had just been so burnt out by like this movie wasn't great. This movie was fine, whatever.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Shazam came, and I was like, this movie is so
We're
good.
back. We're back.
Like really, like I called my brother, and like I grew up in the late '90s, early 2000s, and so for me, like when I saw like Adam Brody as like older Freddie,
Oh,
I was
right,
like,
because he's from,
oh
from
my
from the
God.
OC, right?
Yeah, and he was a
So
nerd in it. And
you're
so
from, when were you born? Because I think you're my
91.
sister's age.
I was
91,
91.
yeah. My sister was 89 because she said the same thing, and I was like, what? Oh, that show for young kids.
It's Seth Cohen as a superhero. It's so cool. But
Mhm.
it was really cool with Rosa seeing how she kind of knows how to interact with all of the kids on a different level. Like especially the younger ones, she knows like they need more of her attention. So she's like willing to be more open with them versus like Freddie and Billy, they kind of do their own thing. And she's like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't love it, but like I'm not going to tell you no.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so you said you got to like meet the cast and like talk all that. How much of that was already built into the script and how much of it was from you kind of knowing these kids and their approaches to their characters that you kind of mapped out how she would react to the
Um,
kids?
I think, well, the script, the lines were the lines, and we didn't change any of that, and
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have to because it's so well written by Henry, our writer, you know. But I will say though that, and I've said this talking about the first movie, how important it is, when you're working with children, even if they're actors, they're children, and children have instincts, you know, probably much more, much wiser than adults, because we end up putting, you know, masks on our face and things in life, and we grow up and we become, you know, a version of ourselves that's less authentic than who children really are. You know, the children have that innocence. And that being said, because they have that innocence and that like spontaneity, you cannot fake familiarity with a child in on set. You can't fake that. If that's not there, you won't see it in the movie. So that to me was so crucial, because I'm saying, if Mama Rosa is building this foster home filled with love, and you put a bunch of kids around the table, I don't care how good of an actor they all of them are. If you don't believe that these kids have spent time together, they have spent time with me, they sit around the table and we have this banter back and forth, it won't be seen on screen. And then
Mm-hmm.
people will be like, oh, these are just a bunch of actors saying lines, you know. But because we had that time, because we were able to connect, or me as Marta, but also as a professional, you know, I realize working with kids is special, and it's tricky, and it requires a little bit of this emotional intelligence, so to speak, that maybe with working with a fellow adult is not so clear.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very adamant about making sure that we could create that safe space for them to feel comfortable around me, to feel like if I'm hugging them, they've been hugged before by me. If I just show up and I'm like, oh, you know, rolling sound action, and I'm like, and you know, poor Darla is like weird. So I think I'm proud of that, Rachel. I'm proud of having done that. I'm proud of having built that with all the kids. To this day, we have a very close relationship with all the real mamas. I have this fight with Faith's mom, Faith, who plays Darla. I'm always like, are you sure you don't want me to keep her? Because I know you have more kids and I don't. So like, let me just think about it. Every time I see her, I'm like, come on, you sure? Maybe this time around. So maybe if we have a third movie, I can get to like keep her for a little bit
They're like, she can stay
before
with
she
me the
grows too
entire
fast.
time we're filming. She can just stay with me. This is now my daughter
Uh,
throughout the
it,
filming of
it,
the
it was
movie.
it was hard because of COVID. We filmed the second
Mm-hmm.
movie with all these COVID restrictions, and it was hard also to. Luckily, you don't see any of that in the film, like that discombobulating feeling, because with all the masks and not being able to
Mm-hmm.
like hang out so much or like be close to one another, and this whole thing, it was a bummer. So we're hoping that we'll get a third movie with no global pandemics where we can just hug each other more often, you know.
Soon as set, you guys get to set, it's hugging. Everyone just hugging each other. Uh,
We'll
for
do a lot of that at the premiere. I can't wait to see everybody
just
soon enough.
hug up. For a quick final question, I just want to ask. So the movie is coming out. We're all excited because it's a crazy huge cast again, but also with Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu
Yeah.
and Rachel Zegler, which it was like, oh, okay, they're just adding everyone. It's great. What can you say about the second movie for fans to get excited?
Um, I would say hold on to your seats is bigger, louder, faster. We have dragons that come trying to chase my kids, and I won't have it. And then seeing all of them in superhero form when as Mama Rosa is, I won't reveal it, but it's quite hilarious. It's funnier than ever. So I cannot wait to share with people. I'm just like counting the days because we saw it, the cast saw it shortly before Christmas. So it's been already like a month and a half. And I'm like, come on, guys, March can't come soon enough, you
I'm
know,
so excited.
and just the exploration of each kid in their personalities is obviously deeper because we get to see, you know, their adult and their young version more often, the relationship between them and Mama Rosa and Papa Victor, and then Helen Mirren. I mean, Helen Mirren.
And Helen Mirren.
There's Dame Helen Mirren. There's nothing that woman can do. What she does with this character, how she elevates everything about it and makes her approachable, scary, hilarious, of course, incredibly beautiful. Because I've never seen a woman with a beauty like her. When I first met her on set, I nearly peed myself, and I pretended that I was cool about meeting her because I was next to Zach, and Zach was in costume. So I said, "Hi, I'm Shazam's mom," and she said, "Oh, darling, you can't be anybody's mom." This beautiful, glowing. I mean, I thought, I wouldn't be able to do a scene with her. I mean, I'm happy that I share a movie with her. I don't think I would ever be able to do a scene with her because I would not be able to focus. But
You're like, I'm glad my
um,
name is in the credits with Helen
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mirren's
yeah,
putting the
yeah.
look
I
her in
will
the
say
face.
that I am sharing a movie with Helen Mirren. That's cool. That's very cool.
uh,
Mm.
thank you so much for talking with me today. I think about Shazam all the time
Welcome,
because I
Rachel.
always think about the scene where they're like a mile apart from each other, and he's like, I can't
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah.
I
It's
think
like
about it all the
it's like
time.
what are you doing? Like a super evil like villains because I can't. There's cars and traffic.
My brother and I talk about it all the time. We think about it all the time. I'm just like, this is the funniest. Like, it won't leave my brain. So I think about Shazam all the time.
Yeah,
Uh,
you'll see. There's many one-liners, and actually, I get to have a one-liner finally.
oh, I can't
And
wait.
because you know, Mama Rosa is so like relatable, but in this movie, I get to have. I think they released a clip the other day of that, so I think I'm not doing any spoilers, but I'm kind of like, oh, Mama Rosa can be sometimes funny too, you know.
She's funny. She
So
raised all those very funny kids, but I love very much. Thank you so much for talking with me. I can't wait for Shazam,
thank you,
Fury of the
Rachel. I
Gods.
appreciate your time.
Of
Yay!
course. Have a great one.
Bye,
Bye.
sweetheart.